How do you know when it's time to end a relationship? Let's talk about it. First off, my name is Megan Scherer. I am a holistic and somatic therapist who specializes in love, self-love, and relationships. And I post lots of content across all of my channels to help people have a better relationship with themselves as the foundation for your relationship with others. So make sure you like and subscribe, follow along for more content. One of the questions I get very often is, how do I know when it's time to end a relationship versus when it's time to double down and invest in making it work? So in this video, I'm going to give you some scenarios and self-reflection questions so you can identify if the relationship you're in now is the right one for you or not. Let's start with understanding when it's maybe not the right time to end a relationship. If you are someone who knows you struggle with avoidant attachment tendencies, meaning you tend to put a guard up or a wall up, you tend to push people away when you feel like they're getting too close, you struggle with emotional intimacy and vulnerability, and you often find reasons or excuses why someone's not the right fit for you or why it's never going to work out, and you tend to feel fear around relationships that results in avoiding depth and emotional intimacy. If that's you, and you know that you've struggled with those patterns in the past, then you are somebody who I would caution against ending a relationship just because you feel like you're not sure. If you feel that sense of uncertainty, that might be stemming from that place of emotional avoidance. And sometimes that can come from fear. Sometimes we fear getting hurt, we fear being rejected, we fear being abandoned, we fear feeling unloved, and so we do the leaving and the rejecting and the abandoning before the other person can do it to us. Now, we can talk in another video about where avoidant attachment tendencies stem from. But for the purposes of answering this question, should you end this relationship or not? If you are the avoidantly attached person, I would recommend pumping the brakes and asking yourself some of the following questions to really determine whether or not this person is the right fit for you, or whether you're feeling that fear and like you need to run. So the first and most important question to ask yourself is, do you and the person that you're with share core values? Have you taken the time to get to know who you are and what matters most to you in life and the kind of life you want to build, as well as in a relationship? And have you determined what is non-negotiable for you to experience in a relationship? And if you've done that, have you gotten clear on whether or not this person is aligned with those values and non-negotiables? Here's an example. Let's say you love this person very much, you have a great time when you hang out, you make each other laugh, and there's nothing really wrong with the relationship, but in the long term, you don't want the same things. Maybe you want marriage and kids and they don't. Maybe you want to live in one particular location and they want to travel the world. And if you're really honest with yourselves and each other, it feels good for now, but it's not ultimately a long-term match. Being honest about the fact that somebody can be great and still not be the right fit for you is hard, and it's so important. And it also doesn't mean that you have to break up right now. Maybe you two collectively decide that you want to continue to build and nurture the relationship you have, knowing that there's a time limit to it. Maybe you decide that that would be too hard and you don't want to spend more time together knowing that you're going to break up down the road. You have to choose for yourself and honor what feels true for you, while of course openly and honestly communicating with your partner so that they get to make the decision that's right for them as well. Another great question you can ask yourself is, do you like who you are when you're with this person? Do you feel like you're able to be your authentic self? Does more of your vibrant, happiest truth come online when you're around this person? Can you also be your messiest, most vulnerable self around them comfortably without worrying what they think or if they're judging you? Do you feel inspired to continue to work on yourself and grow and become a better person in their presence? If the answer is yes, great. That's a wonderful indicator that this could be a really incredible relationship for you. And if the answer is no, if you find yourself getting more defensive, falling into old habits and patterns around them, you get to take personal accountability for that, of course. We all get to do our own internal healing work and call ourselves out on our patterns. And there are certain people who are going to bring out the best in us and certain people who are really going to challenge us and trigger some of our deeper core wounds. And again, that doesn't mean you have to break up with them right away, but you get to decide for yourself if this is somebody that you could see yourself building a life with long term, given how you feel and the version of you that you're able to tap into in their presence. Along those lines, you can also ask the question, do you like the version of who they are when they're with you? Are they inspired to be the most vibrant, authentic, aligned version of themselves in your presence? Or do you maybe challenge and trigger some of their deepest core wounds in a way that's not quite healthy for the relationship? These are hard questions to ask and be honest with ourselves about, but they're incredibly important if you are deciding whether or not someone is the right fit for you. Another great question you can ask is, are you aligned in terms of your communication styles and preferences, as well as sexual desires and preferences? Again, sometimes someone can be a great person, you can make each other laugh, you can have all these things in common, but you're not willing to communicate in a way that's effective with one another, or they're not willing to communicate in healthy ways with you. Or maybe you have really polar opposite sexual preferences and desires, and that might be a deal breaker for the relationship in the long run. The last question I invite you to ask yourself is, if you're pursuing a relationship with this person because it feels authentic and true and aligned for you, or if you're choosing them for an inauthentic reason, like maybe you like them just because they like you and because you want them to choose you. Maybe they represent something from your past, like an unhealed wound with a parent or someone from childhood. Maybe you're choosing them because you feel like you should, like this seems like the relationship that you should want and should be able to make it work. But again, at the end of the day, if you're honest, it's not actually the right relationship for you. Being brave enough to be willing to admit that to yourself is an incredible skill. It takes strength. And like I said before, it's not easy. It might take time to come to this decision. But I've found that at the end of the day, if you're asking yourself whether or not you should leave a relationship, you often already know the answer. There's some part of you that knows whether it's a yes or a no, and you're just afraid of what that answer might be. So my final invitation is to just spend some time in quiet contemplation, connecting to your body and your intuition and asking that question, in my core, what do I intuitively know is the right decision here for me? Not right or wrong, like you're going to be punished one way or the other, but what feels most authentic for me? I think that all relationships are wonderful opportunities for growth and expansion and learning. And at the end of the day, loving someone and being loved is never a bad thing. So even if it's a relationship that doesn't last, that doesn't make it a failure, especially if you learn more about yourself in the process. Now, I've got a couple great tools and resources for you if you're looking to deepen into your inner work. If you'd like to strengthen your intuition and your connection to your body so you can really feel into and honor that sense of what's a yes for you and what's a no for you, and be able to be emotionally available and regulated for yourself, then I highly recommend my Intro to Somatic Healing course called Belonging in Your Body. It's a wonderful way to help establish a foundation of relationship with self. If you do decide that this relationship isn't the one for you, then I recommend my breakup healing course, Break Open, which has incredible tools, videos, journal prompts, resources, guided meditations, and hypnosis to help you keep your heart open through the healing process and ultimately get more aligned with what you want in your next relationship, and maybe even embracing a period of time intentionally single so that you can deepen your relationship with yourself. I've got both of those courses and resources linked in the comment section below, along with where you can find me and follow all of the other tips and tools that I share in the realm of somatic healing and holistic therapy. Give this video a like and make sure you subscribe to my channel so that you get notified about all future videos, and reach out to me if you have questions. I love hearing from you, and I'm happy to support you in the next stages of your healing journey. See you next time.